All right, today we're going to take a look at Chicago on the map and we're going to get to know a little bit more about the city. So I'll break down the different sides of Chicago and tell you a little bit more about what each side offers. So if we zoom into Chicago, which I have outlined here on this map, so I've broken it down into, you have downtown, you have the north side, the west side, the near west side, which isn't quite associated with the west side, but at the same time it isn't quite downtown. And then, of course, we have the south side. So let's start with downtown. So if you zoom in right here, this little area is going to be downtown. And this is where all of your high rises, your beautiful skylines are. And this is where a lot of the tourist attractions are. You have Navy Pier, for instance. You have the Bean. You have Buckingham Fountain, stuff like that. Now, if you're looking to buy in the downtown area, downtown has high-rises and condos pretty much in every price range. So you have studio apartments all the way up to $1 million penthouses. So if you're looking to live in downtown, there's pretty much an option for you as long as you're willing to live in a condo. So if we go directly south of downtown, you get what we like to call South Loop. And South Loop is also full of high rises and it's a nice, very walkable area. It's also home to, you have McCormick Place, you have Soldier Field, Shedd Aquarium. The South Loop area is perfect for those who don't quite want to live downtown, but you at the same time, you want to be near downtown and still want to enjoy a nice, walkable neighborhood and be pretty much close to everything. So just west of downtown, you have the Fulton Market District, which has a lot of the top restaurants, has some very good places to eat, as well as a lot of condos and great places to live. It's also a very walkable neighborhood. It's a very popular neighborhood as well. So if you head west of the Fulton Market District in the West Loop neighborhood, you'll have the United Center, which is home to the Chicago Blackhawks and the Chicago Bulls. There's been a lot of recent developments in this area, so this is becoming a very popular area. Lots of new condos and townhomes or row homes being built. And if we head south, we cross 290, which is a major expressway that heads west of the city all the way out into the suburbs. But we have the Rush University Medical Center here, and we have the Tri-Taylor neighborhood, which has a lot of new construction condos. I've seen some new construction 2 or 3 unit properties, which I've done a previous video on one of them, so be sure to check that out. And if we head east of the hospital, we run into UIC, aka the University of Illinois Chicago. So there are a lot of townhomes and condos built over here to help house some of the students. And there's a very nice area, very nice walkable area. And real Chicagoans know it's home of the Maxwell Street Polish, or, out of towners can call it Jim's Original. But if you're from Chicago, we call it Maxwell's. Once you head south of the West Loop, you'll hit Chinatown, and then you'll also hit Pilsen neighborhood, which is a historically Hispanic neighborhood, home to some very good restaurants as well as some very good shops. Now from Pilsen, let's head north. Let's head north of West Loop to the West Town neighborhood right here. So we have places like Noble Square, Ukrainian Village. I believe, Wicker Park is here as well. A lot of nice neighborhoods just outside of downtown. So it's a pretty good location, but at the same time, it has its own nightlife, has its own boutique restaurants, stuff like that. Now, real estate here can get pretty expensive, but just in case you were wondering, as far as real estate goes, the closer you are to downtown and the closer you are to the lake, the more expensive it is going to be generally. But once you hit West Town, there's going to be less condos. There'll still be some condo buildings, of course, but less condos when compared to downtown, so not as many high-rises, and you might run into some single-family homes or even a few 2 to 4 unit properties. Now from West Town, let's get a little bit more into the north side. So let me click near West Side off. So if we head east from West Town, we're running to near North Side. So this is directly north of downtown. So this is where you get the Gold Coast area, which is home to some of the most expensive, if not the most expensive mansions and homes in Chicago. So if we head north of that, we're running to the Lincoln Park neighborhood, which is probably one of the most popular neighborhoods in Chicago, one of the most popular tourist attractions. So Lincoln Park has a lot of bars, a lot of great nightlife places. You have the Lincoln Park Zoo, and it has its fill of very nice condos. You can also find some single-family homes if you can afford it. It's, of course, since it's by the lake and close to downtown, it's also a pretty expensive neighborhood. North of Lincoln Park, we're heading to the Lakeview neighborhood, which is home to Wrigley Field, which is home to the Cubs, is also home to Wrigleyville, which is a very popular neighborhood for nightlife, drinking, and generally hanging out after Cubs games, of course, as the name would suggest. But the Lakeview neighborhood, pretty much the same as Lincoln Park, has a lot of nice condos and some pretty expensive single-family homes. It also has some great restaurants and is a very walkable neighborhood as well. So always be sure to check Lakeview out if you're visiting Chicago. It's a very nice place. Unless, of course, you're a Sox fan, but we'll get into the South Side a little bit later in the video. Now from Lakeview, once we head north, we run into neighborhoods such as Uptown, Edgewater, and yeah, I believe this is Lincoln Square. You have North Center. Now these neighborhoods don't have quite as much nightlife as when compared to Lakeview or Lincoln Park, but they're still very nice neighborhoods. They're a little bit on the quieter side. So for instance, closer to the lake, such as Uptown and Edgewater, you still have those nice condos, those high-rise buildings with the nice lake views. And then once you head a little bit further west, you run into more single-family homes. And once again, very nice neighborhoods, and they also have pretty nice boutique shops and restaurants, but not as much nightlife, I would say, or not quite as energetic or as loud as Lakeview or Lincoln Park. Now, after these neighborhoods, once you head further west across the river, you run into, once again, more quieter neighborhoods. You run into more single-family homes, more bungalows, and less high-rises and less condos. So you have, for instance, the North Park neighborhood, the Albany Park neighborhood. These are very nice neighborhoods on the north side of Chicago. They tend to be more expensive. Once again, the north side is going to be the more expensive side of Chicago, especially when compared to the west and the south sides. These neighborhoods are also right next to 94, which is a major expressway, and it's also in pretty close proximity to O'Hare Airport, which we all know how large O'Hare Airport is. So if you're looking to live on the north side, maybe you have a job there, or you simply want to be kind of close to the lake on the north side and close to all of those amenities, but don't want to live that condo life where it's more crowded. You're looking for a little bit more space. You're looking for maybe a home with a backyard. Consider moving west and then, hitting up Albany Park or maybe North Park. And once you head south of Albany Park, you'll hit Irving Park, which has a lot of nice older homes. I've found that these homes they're pretty big. They have a lot of decent square footage, but they're that older style. So Irving Park is going to be more of an older residential neighborhood that has a nice mix of single family homes, both old and some new construction, as well as more 2 to 4 unit properties. But you're going to find less condos here. So if we head north again towards the North Park neighborhood and we go west, we run into the Forest Glen neighborhood, which is home to a golf course. So for my golf enthusiasts who want to live near a golf course, might want to consider Forest Glen. And south of Forest Glen, we have Jefferson Park, which is a very nice neighborhood, but it has more of a suburban feel than when compared to neighborhoods that are further east. If we head south of Jefferson Park, we'll hit the Portage Park neighborhood as well as the Dunning neighborhood. These are more quieter neighborhoods, once again, than when compared to the neighborhoods east on the north side, but at the same time, they have more of a city feel than when compared to a Jefferson Park. You head south of Portage Park and you hit the Belmont Cragin and Hermosa neighborhoods, which these are primarily middle-class Hispanic neighborhoods. Lots of good places to eat, lots of good shopping. And if we head further east onto Logan Square, this has been a very popular neighborhood lately. Logan Square is home to a lot of boutique shops, and I believe Logan Square is getting more popular just because prices, once you get closer to downtown, have risen so high that people who once shopped in, let's say, Lincoln Park, they just started kind of heading west. They would hit Bucktown, which is another popular area. And then since Bucktown has started to get more expensive, they would head even further west into Logan Square. So now we're seeing a lot of Logan Square as well. So if you want to be a little bit further from the action and maybe look for better prices on the north side, but at the same time you still want to be as close as you can to downtown and Lincoln Park, maybe hit up Logan Square, maybe hit up Bucktown. Once you head west of West Town, you'll have Humboldt Park, which is a very vibrant, very cultural neighborhood. Lots of good restaurants here. This is mainly a working class neighborhood. You can find some very nice homes as well as 2 to 4 unit properties here. Once again, the further you start heading west, the less condos you see and the more single family homes and apartment buildings or 2 to 4 unit buildings. So 2 to 4 flats is what we in Chicago call them. Now, from Humboldt Park, if we head south, you run into East Garfield Park, which is home to the Garfield Park Conservatory, the biggest conservatory in Chicago. And also, East Garfield Park is getting a lot of action lately because people who are tired of paying the prices further east and who want to be close to the United Center are starting to move into East Garfield Park, and they're starting to develop that more. So that's something to look out for if you're looking for an up-and-coming neighborhood. Now, once you head west from East Garfield Park, you get West Garfield Park, which a lot of people hate on. However, there have been a lot of investors going out here buying all the 2 to 4 unit properties, renovating them, and then selling them for $500,000 or even more. So I've seen a lot of investor activity in West Garfield Park, and I imagine it's because it's so close to 290. So anyone who's looking to get into the city and head downtown, and then, once you're done doing whatever you're doing downtown, you head back west into West Garfield Park, and boom, you're home in 15-20 minute ride. Head west of West Garfield Park and you'll hit the Austin neighborhood, which, as you can see, is a pretty big neighborhood. Now, Austin is very popular on the west side because it is near, once again, the edge of the city, right near Oak Park, which is a very popular suburbs. So there are a lot of popular places to eat and just popular places to go in Oak Park. So a lot of people who live in Austin, which is a lot cheaper than Oak Park, will just cross over to Oak Park and then, enjoy the nightlife and enjoy all the restaurants, things that Oak Park has to offer. On top of that, Austin is home to a lot of nice bungalows, even some historic bungalows, as well as some places that pretty much look like mini mansions to me. As you might be able to tell from my videos, I'm pretty partial to the Austin neighborhood. I was born and raised there, so definitely check out Austin. They have some nice restaurants in there as well. Now, Austin, I would say, is a predominantly black neighborhood, as well as East and West Garfield Park and North Lawndale. And they have some of the best soul food restaurants that you may not have heard of, but trust me, you got to go there and check it out. I've seen even a few places on TikTok, so they're starting to get discovered. So you might want to get up on it before it's too late. Now, let's head back a little bit east. So once we head south of East and West Garfield Park, we'll hit the North Lawndale neighborhood, which is very popular for it has a lot of historic graystone properties and especially 2 to 4 unit properties. And since it's near Mount Sinai Hospital, there's been a lot of, I would say, development as far as real estate. Like right around this Douglas Park area, you're seeing a lot of 2 to 4 unit buildings being renovated over there, and they're fetching a lot as far as the price and as far as the apartment rentals as well. So this may be another hot area for you to check out, especially if you're looking to invest in 2 to 4 unit properties. North Lawndale has a lot of nice ones. Head south of North Lawndale and then you'll get Little Village, which is a working class Hispanic neighborhood and some of the best authentic restaurants that you'll ever visit. So make sure to check them out. They have some good food there. All right, now that we're done with the west side, we cross the river and we cross 55 and we're at the south side, which is the largest side of Chicago, last but not least. So we cross over. Let's start from west and work our way east. So first we'll start with the, I believe this is Garfield Ridge and the Clearing neighborhoods. These are more middle class neighborhoods that surround Chicago Midway, the airport. Then from here we head east to where you got Archer Heights, West Elton, Gage Park, Brighton Park. These are more working class neighborhoods. You get both single family homes and 2 to 4 unit properties. And let's see what else. Let's head towards McKinley Park and back of the yards. These, I noticed a lot more apartment buildings, so a lot of more 2 to 4 unit properties here. It's a little more crowded than when compared to, let's just say, Archer Heights or Garfield Ridge or Clearing. East of McKinley Park, you'll hit Bridgeport and Armour Square, which are popular neighborhoods because they're near Guaranteed Rate Field, home of the White Sox. So if you're into the White Sox, these are the neighborhoods for you if you want to, at least live by there. From here, let's head south and more towards the lake to the Bronzeville neighborhood, which is a historically black neighborhood. Lots of rich culture here, lots of boutique shops, very great restaurants. And here you're going to find a lot of, once again, historic graystones. There are a lot of townhomes, a lot of nice condos here. And as well as Kenwood, you're pretty much going to find sort of the same vibe. A lot of nice gray stone buildings, a lot of nice apartment buildings, 2 to 4 unit properties, stuff like that. Head south from there and we have the Hyde Park neighborhood, which is a very popular, very hot neighborhood. Very walkable, lots of great shops, and also lots of great condos for pretty much every price range. Does have some single family homes too, but you're not going to find as many. And of course, if you do, they're going to be expensive because we're by the lake. Hyde Park is also home to University of Chicago as well, so there's a lot of student housing and just overall a lot of development. And once again, pretty walkable neighborhood. You know it's going to be a pretty decent neighborhood if it's by the university. They're going to make sure they keep the students protected. So now if you head south of Hyde Park, you have Woodlawn, which is seeing a lot of development lately because in nearby Jackson Park, they are building the Obama Library. So there's been a lot of new construction around Woodlawn, and pretty much the further east you get to Woodlawn or the closer to Jackson Park, the more expensive it's gotten lately. So FYI, if you're looking for another up and coming hot neighborhood, take a look at Woodlawn. If you head south of Woodlawn, you hit the South Shore neighborhood, which is also becoming a popular neighborhood because its proximity to Jackson Park and the development of the Obama Library. And also there is a golf course in South Shore, as well as its closeness to the lake with the beaches. We're seeing a lot of development here as well. It's been a predominantly black neighborhood and they are investing money here, so you might want to take a look at South Shore as well. There are a lot of condo buildings, especially closer to the lake, and they have some single family homes and 2 to 4 unit properties as well as you head further west. You head further east and then you'll hit Greater Grand Crossing, and then there's also Inglewood, which we've been seeing a lot of investments and a lot of development into not only single family homes there, but also 2 to 4 unit properties there as well. There are a lot of 2 to 4 unit properties that are being just bought up, renovated. They look real nice now, and if you can get into one of those, live in one, rent it out, it's a nice cash flow. That's a good investment property. So we head lower, we hit Auburn Gresham, we hit Chatham. These are also more black neighborhoods, a lot of nice bungalows here. These are good working class neighborhoods that have a nice mixture of single family homes and 2 to 4 unit properties. West of Auburn Gresham, you have the Ashburn neighborhood, and this is more single family homes. I've noticed a lot of people that work for the city of Chicago live here. So the Ashburn, Scottsdale, Wrightwood neighborhoods, it's generally quieter than once you go further east into the city. So if you're not quite into that city life, still need to live in the city, but looking for a place a little bit quieter, maybe check out the Ashburn neighborhood. Now from Ashburn, let's head south to the Beverly neighborhood, and Beverly is a very nice, it almost feels like a suburb. There are a nice mixture of not only your average bungalow homes, but they have a lot of nice historic looking properties as well. You can find all types of home in Beverly. Beverly definitely has nice boutique shops. It has its own little culture there, so very nice, interesting neighborhood. From Beverly, if you head east, you'll hit more working class black neighborhoods such as Washington Heights and Roseland. Then we have the Pullman neighborhood, which is actually a historic neighborhood because it was founded by George Pullman to house his workers. So there are a lot of historic townhomes, row homes. So check that out if you want to see a little piece of history, see a little piece of Chicago's history. So once you head east of Pullman, you hit the South Deering neighborhood, and then I'm never sure if I'm saying this right, Hedgewich neighborhood, which is where the Ford plant is. And last but not least, if we head a little bit north, you have the East Side, which is a Hispanic working class neighborhood. And as far as Chicago goes, that's pretty much it. Now, of course, I wasn't able to touch on every single neighborhood, so if there's a specific neighborhood that you want to ask me about, feel free to reach out to me. And don't forget, if you're looking to buy or sell in the Chicagoland area, that includes Chicago and the surrounding suburbs, once again, reach out to me.